I sit listening to another of Muto's long-winded lectures, my mind wandering far from the scribbles on the dirty blackboard. Since I called Lilly, my mind's been drawn in two directions. Both, roughly, lead to the same conclusion. I've started to feel oddly detached from my past life. It's only been a month and a half since I arrived here, yet this school's become a second home. I've gained new friends and contacts, managed to get to grips with the school's lifestyle and culture, and become accustomed to the quirks of my classmates. To become used to a school where disabilities are the norm, rather than the rare exception, still catches me off guard sometimes when I think on it. This same school that's populated by burn victims, amputees, the blind, the deaf, and all manners of disabilities in between. If someone had described this school to me before I'd come, I'd have shrugged it off as an overactive imagination. Even when I first arrived, I felt like the Dutch, coming to this strange new land for the first time. It's amazing how quickly one becomes used to the environment they're forced to live in, really. And now I've even found someone that's got me entirely smitten. What a strange life. Before my mind can wander any further, though, I find a page of lined paper slipped under my distracted face. The garish, bright pink ink has no doubt been penned by Misha. Don't look so bored, Hee-chan. School's nearly over. 3-day holiday. Oh, right. We get Saturday and Monday off. Can't complain about having less school, I suppose. I uncap my pen and scribble on the page before covertly passing it back to her, flicking my eyes to the front of the class every now and then. Muto continues scrawling away arcane equations and formulas on the board. I'm guessing you have something planned? Misha takes the paper back and hunches over it comically, even for her, with her tongue poking through the side of her mouth. Did she misinterpret my expression as depressed, or is she trying to cheer me up? Student council work with Shi-chan, of course. You're not still brooding over that, surely. But Hee-chan could have helped us poor, lonely girls. I'd lend you a hand for today if I weren't going to be busy. Oh, naughty, naughty Hee-chan. I'm just going to meet Lilly with Hanako. I don't know what you've got going through your head. So, Lily's back? Yeah, she's coming on the evening flight with her sister, so she'll be back in school next week. As she takes the note back and begins to write, I look up to see an unwelcome sight. While I frantically try to silently catch Misha's attention, Muto confidently strides through the gap between the desks from the front of the class, his intent gaze focused directly on her. She suddenly stops writing as his tall figure casts an impossibly long shadow over the page. I... He silently takes the piece of paper from her and begins to read. Sweating bullets, I quickly glance around the class, noting their complete silence. Of course, it would just have to be the one thing that actually gets their attention during the lesson. After a scant few seconds examining the page, he rolls the paper up into a small tube and lightly bops Misha over the head with it. Half an hour until you can hop off to the student council. I think you can hold on until then, he tells her. Misha's face cracks as the entire class erupts into laughter. He might well be awkward, but he knows how to handle her excellently. I'd probably feel sorry for her if I weren't as busy stifling my own laughter. Hisao, is that one it? No, I think that's some foreign airline. And so, the third aircraft they're not on comes into land. For the past half hour, we've been whiling away the time with small snippets of pointless chatter. Lily and Akira's flight has been delayed, and at this rate, it'll probably be dark before their plane arrives. Is that one it? No, the company colors are wrong. Hanako's eyes flutter left and right, following the trickle of people in and out of the huge glass doors ahead of us. Fortunately, nobody pays her much heed, their attention apparently directed toward greater things. Maybe that one is it. No, I think that's... Hold on a minute. I think that one might be it after all. It takes some more time before the billboard changes their flight status to disembarking. A loud yawn sneaks up on me, not allowing enough time to stifle it. My sleep patterns have, once again, been all over the place, likely due to a mix of worrying about Hanako and the side effects of my medications. Hisao, over there. I look to Hanako, then follow her gaze to the airport door. Oh, Lily, they're here, Akira calls out. Really? We all call out to each other in greeting, quickly shuffling over to the side to avoid blocking the passage of others. Lily! Hanako calls. She jumps forward to hug Lily, a wide smile on her face being all that's needed to see her happiness at Lily's return. Lily simply smiles in return, her voice soft. It's wonderful to meet you again, Hanako. As the two give each other a hug, well deserved after all that's happened while she was gone, I turn to Akira. Yo, she says. You're pretty late. Yeah, that was a really bad storm over the airport. We got drenched just going from the car to the door. I guess you'll appreciate the weather here more then, I tell her. Welcome back to you too, Lily. Hanako breaks off from Lily as I speak. For a long time, neither of us says a word. Contrary to what I thought her homecoming would be like, the atmosphere feels awkward, almost stifling. Both of us try to guess each other's feelings, not quite sure about what should be said. Damn, this is exactly what I feared when I thought of trying to move things forward between us. Lily runs her hand through her hair and awkwardly twirls one of her bangs in her fingers, clearly trying to think of how best to react. Eventually, thankfully, Lily gives a small sigh and breaks the silence. Thank you, Hisao. It's nice to be back. Are you okay? You look tired, Hanako asks. Evidently not recollecting herself all that well, she quickly waves her hand in front of her face to stave off any concern Hanako may have over her. I'm okay, really. It's just a bit of jet lag. Weak, Akira responds. You don't have any? She simply gives a big grin, puffing out her modest chest. I feel absolutely fine. That's not fair, Lily replies. Ha ha ha. Ah, well, you shouldn't take too long to get rid of it. Ah, that's right. Hisao? Yeah, I respond. Don't we have a holiday from school soon? I'd have forgotten if Misha hadn't reminded me this morning. We've got a 3-day weekend starting from tomorrow. Akira playfully bumps her elbow lightly into Lily's side, grinning. Told you wouldn't miss it. You have something planned, I ask. If neither you nor Hanako are busy, I've got no plans, so something to do would be appreciated. Hanako? No, nothing. That's good. I was thinking we could go to my family's summer house for a bit of quiet over the break. We've rarely used it recently, though, so we'd have to dust things off a little while we're there. Oh, I say, where is it? Up north in Hokkaido, Akira answers. The place is practically deserted, so it should be a nice quiet break for you guys. You're not coming, I ask. Nah, got a little holiday of my own set up with my boyfriend. I lower my eyes at her, suspicious of her intentions. It sounds like we're just cleaning up the summer house for you. That's perhaps a valid conclusion, Lilly admits. Both of us zero in on Akira, her face somewhat evasive. Looks like we were right. That's just a convenient bonus, really. Me and the guy left it in pretty good condition last we were there, I promise. Now then, I'm out of here. Already? Akira? She quickly turns and walks away, her hand held high. See you in a few days, guys. Lilly and I can only sigh at her hasty retreat. It does sound like it would be a nice place to go, Hanako says. Lilly gives an enthusiastic nod, taking her carry bag in one hand and placing her other on Hanako's shoulder for guidance, as we begin to make our way to the taxi area. After the fracas of the past few days, spending a weekend in the country alone with her and Hanako sounds like a dream. The more I think about it, the more sure I am. This will be the right time and place to confess my feelings to her. The morning chill wraps itself around my shivering body. I huff into my cupped hands to desperately try and stave off the cold as we mill about on the station platform. Lilly's clothing looks rather ill-suited for the temperature around us. I can only hope it's indicative of what she expects the weather to be like at our destination. Damn it, Lilly, why do we have to get here so early? Unfortunately, the train schedule is against us. The next train to Hokkaido is at 2 in the afternoon. Great, I say, just great. I pause a moment to wipe some sleep out of my eyes, and Lilly promptly takes advantage of the opening. Cheer up, Hisao. Once we get there, it'll be much warmer. Why not just take the bullet train, I ask. A normal train's going to take hours to get us there, so we may as well take the Shinkansen line as far north as it goes and just switch at the end. There's a certain charm to older trains, wouldn't you agree? Lilly responds. I'd agree if it weren't freezing in the morning cold because we decided to take one. I'm sorry, Hisao. Sorry, I asked Hanako. For what? I was the one who suggested taking a normal train. Way to make me feel guilty. All I can do is sigh and cover my face with my hand. It's fine, I tell her. I'm just grumbling. My, Hanako, you don't need to shoulder all the blame yourself. Even without your suggestion, I'd still have opted for the same thing. Thankful for the quick reception from Lilly, I take a quick gander around the station. Aside from us, the train platform's all but deserted, the morning dew settling on the empty benches. I guess no one else was masochistic enough to brave the very early morning. Though if someone was, they'd more than notice the huge bags both Lilly and Hanako brought with them. I have to ask out of curiosity, just what did you have to pack into those things anyway? The bags? She pauses a moment and tilts her head in thought. A change of clothing, raincoat, underwear, sleepwear, a number of books. I think that's most of it. You make it sound as if I'm unprepared, I tell her. You brought less? Underwear and a pack of cards. That's it. And my pills, but never mind that. No pajamas? Lily asks. Damn, I say. I knew I forgot something. As I ruffle my hair in frustration, Lily sighs. There should be clothes you could use there. Akira still occasionally goes there after all, and I think some of our parents' clothing is still in storage. I don't think there'll be any problem with you borrowing a set of pajamas, if need be. Thanks, I say. Still, I don't mind just sleeping in my normal clothing. For 2 days, she says. Good point. Not really. Though 2 days would be borderline, it's more than looking even a little like a slob would be unacceptable while in the presence of two girls. As we leisurely talk on the station platform, an announcement sounds from the loudspeakers, loudly heralding our ride's arrival. Looking past Lily and Hanako, though, the train's still well out of sight. A quick check of my watch is enough to see that it's the one we'll be taking. The 5:30 train was ours, right? Correct. Either of you want me to help take your bags? Mine's not exactly heavy. My, that's very gentlemanly of you, Hisao. Don't accept too reluctantly now, I tell her. As I bend down to pick up Lily's large bag, I look up to see Hanako picking up hers. You fine with that, I say? A silent nod's the only answer. I'm starting to get the feeling that by the trip's end, I'll be able to count every sentence she said on one hand. With the morning landscape passing by the window and the occasional rattle of the train bumping the carriage around, I try to focus my attention on the aging playing cards held in my hand. I'll raise you 5, I say. She scrunches her face up and leans over to Lily conspiratorially, the two exchanging a few whispered words. Considering how often this has happened so far, I'm coming to doubt Hanako's grasp of how to play poker. It doesn't seem to disturb Lily's reading, though, her hands flitting over each page with only occasional corrections to account for the train's bumping and rocking. My collection of chess pieces that we're using as chips is steadily growing anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. Looking around us, our carriage is almost as empty as the station platform we'd waited for the train itself on. Only a handful of people can be seen, looking mostly like tourists and couples on holiday. While the two continue their less than clandestine strategizing, a small boy looks over the seat and stares at me. Hoping he doesn't begin to stare at Hanako, I simply give him a wave and a smile. Thankfully, he retreats back to his seat after finding me far too boring to waste his attention on. I'll see you and raise you another 5, Hanako says. Damn, you got me. I fold. I've been bluffing, and she's caught on. Hanging my head, I push over a large portion of my winnings. Hanako looks absolutely delighted, and even if Lily keeps her attention focused on her reading material, I can see the smirk on her face. They're both extremely pleased. For a moment, I try to work out what Lily's reading, but the cover is too faded to read beyond the fact that Roman letters are on it. A pity I can't read the braille above the printed title. What are you reading, Lily? The title looks like it's in English. That's right. It's And Then There Were None, an old British story. I could read it to you if you'd like. She extends the offer with a grin, obviously in jest. I think I'll pass, thanks. After a seemingly endless trip, we finally reached the promised land at the Sato summer house. Even after the train trip, the walk up seemed to take forever. Despite my grumblings, though, I'd never have guessed the sight that would be in store for us once we traveled that long, deserted road. It looks more like a farmhouse than the everyday house I'd imagined, small in size and surrounded by trees and bushes. An empty expanse of wheat fields and farming land can be seen as we walk up, the fencing only consisting of rickety old wooden planks. It really drives home how far we are from the major cities, and is a sight that feels antithetical to the environment I grew up in. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is its Western styling. Wow, I say, it's amazing out here. It's wonderful, Hanako agrees. That's nice to hear. While Akira may have said that she's kept the house in reasonable condition, I was worried that we might have different standards of reasonable. It looks like there isn't another soul for miles, I say. I thought Akira would be the type to keep to the city. Lilly furrows her brow in thought, seemingly recalling almost forgotten knowledge. From memory, there's a small town not too far ahead. Other than that, though, this is largely just old farmland. Akira and I stayed in our parents' house, which was in the nearest city for a while, but after they left, we decided to move into a smaller, much more maintainable house. To find a place like this in Japan nowadays, I tell her, it's kind of anachronistic. Well, this town does have quite a bit of history. I looked down the street one last time before getting back to the task at hand. Shall we go in then? I'm parched. It was a long walk to get here. Lily gives an enthusiastic nod, and the three of us lugging our bags into the house. As soon as we set foot inside, Hanako and I start looking around, taking in every detail of where we'll be staying for the next few days. All the artifacts of another's life stop mid-motion or around the house, such as the television guide lying beside the counter it was on, and pans in the adjoining kitchen still sitting on the stove. It's a strange feeling, really, as if we were stepping into Akira's life for a brief moment, before leaving in a couple of days just as we'd come. Of course, the more mundane reality is that she just hasn't cleaned up after herself all that well. Where should we put our bags, I ask. I'll show Hanako our bedroom. You can put yours here if you'd like. You mean I don't have the same bedroom as you two, I ask? Hanako flowers into a full blush as Lily takes her cheek in her hand. Oh my, how bold. You two. Hold on. If I'm to leave my bags here, where will I be sleeping? Well, seeing as we lack a guest bedroom, Lily says. The convertible futon, huh? Sorry, Hisao. I sigh, lamenting my place on the bottom rung of sleeping location priorities. I guess there's no other choice, I say. Lily leaves to show Hanako to their bedroom, so I take a small tour of my surroundings after I drop my bag on the floor. The kitchen, just like the living room, is fairly modest. The rustic nature of the wood furnishings drives home just how far we are from civilization. Returning to the living room, I decide to try out the television until they get back. With a touch of the remote, it immediately flickers to life, apparently set to a news channel. Almost flopping down from exhaustion rather than sitting, I lay back and watch. And watch. And watch. Hisao? I quickly blinked to wake myself up. Lily and Hanako haven't returned minus their bags. From the Hokkaido night sky visible outside the windows, it looks like I drifted off to sleep. Looking to the wall-mounted clock, it's already 10. You found the television then, Lily says. Yeah, it really does feel nice and homey here. I'm glad you like it. You were already out like a light when we came back after unpacking our things, so we didn't have the heart to wake you sooner. Judging from her giggle, I must sound funny when I sleep. I swiftly decide not to inquire. There's some dinner waiting for you in the kitchen, Hanako says. She gives a deep yawn, only just remembering to cover her mouth at the last second. My, are you tired? Uh, I didn't get much sleep last night, Hanako admits. I'm pretty tired too, I say. It was a long walk up here, and it's getting late. If that's the case, I suppose we should retire for the night. Good night, Hisao. Good night, Hanako says. Night, I tell him. With that, they quietly turn and walk back to their bedroom. Rubbing my eyes, I sigh. I wonder if I'll be able to get back to sleep after being woken up. I suppose I'll eat something and watch some more TV quietly before going to bed. So Lily returns back to Japan with Akira in tow, and to a slightly awkward reunion between Lily and Hisao. As he says he was afraid that trying to push the relationship forward a little bit, or seeing where the relationship stood if it could move forward, might cause a little awkwardness between them, and that seems to be the case. Although you have to admit that Lily immediately turns around and asks Hanako and Hisao what their plans are, and asks them to if they would like to take the 3-day weekend and go to the Sato vacation home up in Hokkaido. So you have to be thinking, what is she thinking? Because as Hisao says, he is very happy for the idea, as he has decided to make his step and believes that being at the vacation house will probably be the place that he can now confess to her, as he is now pretty sure of his feelings. And it is quite the nice place, a small farmhouse, pretty well secluded, a small village, as they said, a walking distance away, and apparently a good walk from the train station as well here. So things are getting set up. They have split off to their various bedrooms, Lily and Hanako sharing one, and Hisao sleeping on the futon couch that looks just like the one I have upstairs. And we will see how their 3-day weekend together is going to go. If Hisao was thinking that 2 girls and a guy in a dorm room with a tea set sounded kind of suspicious in Hanako's path, what about 2 girls and a guy sharing a long weekend in a vacation house together? Makes me wonder sometimes just under what kind of legal responsibility is Yamaku under to keep an eye on their students and report back to the parents where they happen to be. But we'll save that for another time. So we will see you next time.